Chapter 256. The famous. The heavens and earth immediately changed color. The winds and clouds shifted, and a boundless demonic aura covered the entire Kang heaven. The crowd watching the battle immediately saw 7 demonic heavens besieging Kangchon. The battle was incomparably fierce. Arrogance, creating your defeat today. Kangchon saw the demon heavens killing, and smiled coldly as he waved his hegemony fist to meet them. And his unrivaled hegemony chi rose up to the sky, shaking the entire heaven and earth. Boom! Although it was one person facing the 7 devil heavens, Kangchon's fist blast was transformed into countless fist shadows that raced towards the 7 devil heavens, sweeping across the entire space. Ah! The devil heaven roared, his battle intent surging to the heavens. The powerful force causing the space around him to tremble and distort. 7 figures, each of them erupting with the strongest power. He was almost mad with anger. Arrogant. Is there anyone else more arrogant than you? The killing intent in his eyes was infinite as he unleashed his fiercest attacks. However, what terrified Devil Heaven was that Kangchon's fist was very majestic and unrivaled, and it was getting stronger and stronger the more he fought. And in the end, he could only have the part of resisting, being completely suppressed. Overlord Fist. Kangchon let out a low roar. His entire body's chi and blood boiled. His physical body erupted with purple light, surging with unrivaled battle power. 6 of the 7 demonic heavens were blown up on the spot, and the most remaining demonic heaven's main body escaped, spewing out a mouthful of blood. Everyone was stunned at this scene. They couldn't believe their eyes. The devil heavens were defeated. I said, "The current you is not my opponent." Kangchon took a step and didn't make another move. He just coldly gazed at Devil Sky. An aura naturally emanated from his body. This was a kind of invincible domineering aura, a terrifying aura that swept through the 9 heavens, looking down upon the 8 wastelands. No one said Kangchon was arrogant again, because the battle just now was enough to prove everything. Kangchon indeed had this kind of domineering strength. Heavenly Demon Cross Chop. Facing the indifferent Kangchon, Devil Heaven did not say any more. His eyes burst with battle intent, directly raising his devil blade, displaying the most powerful strength. Swish! A long rainbow pierced through the sky. This blade was incomparably bright and gorgeous, like a divine punishment descending from the supreme heavenly god, blasting into the heavens. Boundless demonic chi shrouded the sky, and the terrifying blade aura was 1,000 feet long, slashing straight down, like it was cutting the heavens and earth into 2 pieces. The scene was extremely shocking. However, at this moment, a long, blood-colored blade chopped horizontally, and in a silent manner, it clashed with the demonic blade. Boom! Immediately, the heavens and earth shook, the void shattered. A terrifying power swept through the heavens, and the entire space was completely distorted, like it seemed to have reached a kind of limit. A hint of a crack appeared, but it immediately disappeared. Everyone looked at this scene in shock. Facing demonic heaven's matchless blade, Kangchon similarly took out a blood-colored long blade and clashed with it. This was a divine blade that was blood-red in color, and rather than a divine blade, it could be described as a devil's blade, because the murderous aura emanating from this bloody blade was too heavy, and many of the people present felt their backs go cold and a heartbeat of shock. Tear! After the 2 demonic knives collided, Kangchon and demonic heaven flew backwards almost simultaneously, and the 2 ended up stopping 100 miles away. How is it possible? Devil Heaven looked at the devil blade in his hand. His pupils shrunk violently, and his body trembled a little. Only a clear crack appeared on top of the originally matchless black demon blade, and there was even a fingernail-sized gap, all of which showed the intensity of the battle just now. The devouring demon blade is refined using the very hard heavenly dipper stone. Its hardness is comparable to that of a peak treasure artifact, and that blood blade. Devil Heaven's eyes glared at the blood blade in Kangchon's hand, revealing unprecedented gravity in his eyes. This blood knife was not simple. He had never encountered such a terrifying magic treasure before. The hardness alone was enough to boast many treasure weapons. Still want to fight? Kang Tian stood proudly in the void, his eyes as fiery as the blazing sun as he gazed coldly at Mo Chon. It wasn't that he wanted to spare Mo Chon, but he knew that even if Mo Chon was no longer in his peak state, it would be very difficult for him to kill the other party, because Mo Chon could escape even if he couldn't beat him. If the difference in strength between the two sides wasn't too great, it would simply be easy for the other side to escape. Such a meaningless battle, Kang Tian was naturally too lazy to fight again. It would be better to wait until Demon Sky regained his peak state next time, and then have a fair battle. At least he could test his own cultivation. Otherwise, such a one-sided battle would not have any effect on him. The crowd watching the battle was in shock. It was as if they saw the third supreme being of the spirit sealing space rise to power. There was still a battle to be fought. How to battle? In the sky, Demon Heaven was silent as he heard the words. His eyes stared tightly at the Kang Tian far away, as if he wanted to keep this figure in his heart, even though he still had the power to fight at the moment. His beliefs had already been shaken, and it would be absolutely harmless to fight any longer. The crowd watching the battle also fell into silence at this moment. There was no accident. The spirit sealing space had given birth to the third supreme being. Soon, Kang Tian's name would spread throughout the entire spirit sealing space. Everyone was raising their heads to look up at Kang Tian. This purple-robed youth would be the focal point of today's battle. Even the light of Demon Heaven and the third prince of the dragon was overshadowed by him. Feeling the crowd's line of sight, Kang Tian's expression remained unchanged, his stern eyes locking onto Demon Sky, and the blood knife in his hand exuded a palpitating killing aura. War, or not to fight? Everyone's gazes converged on the two in the sky, filled with anticipation. On a lonely peak, the third prince of the dragon stabilized his injuries and slowly stood up, watching the two figures in the sky side by side with Little Gold. The Devil Sky's faith has been shaken. This battle ends here. Third Prince Dragon's eyes blazed as he said. Despite being defeated under Demonic Sky, he was still full of confidence, thus showing the terrifying nature of his heart. No wonder he had been famous 4 decades in the spirit sealing space. On the side, Xiaojin nodded his head, full of arrogance, and said, HMPH. Count on him to know what's good for him. Even if he is in his heyday, he can't be my brother's opponent, let alone now. For Kang Tian, Xiaojin had blind confidence. The third prince of the dragon couldn't help but touch his nose at his words. These words despised him as well. If Demon Heaven was not Kang Tian's opponent, he, the defeated man, was naturally even less of a match for Kang Tian. However, he knew Little Gold's character and didn't count on it. And this purple-robed youth in front of him did give him a very dangerous feeling, definitely a formidable enemy. In the sky, a tense atmosphere was spreading, facing the overbearing and unrivaled Kang Tian. Devil Sky's face was gloomy, his eyes bright and uncertain. In the end, he was still predicted by the third prince of the dragon, and he chose to back down. Kang Tian, I'll remember you. The next time we meet, you and I will fight again. Devil Heaven's eyes were cold as he looked across at Kang Tian. His heart was both angry and excited. Angry is today cannot kill the dragon third prince. Excited is this sealed spirit space. There is someone else as his opponent. He still will not be lonely after the Devil Sky said. Coldly scan not far away from the dragon third prince and small golder glance. Body shape flashes towards the far asterisk away. In the blink of an eye disappeared in the crowd's line of sight. Watching Devil Sky leave, the crowd watching the battle below had some regrets. They had thought that they would be able to see another peak door. It's a pity. Devil Heaven actually chose to leave. It seems that Devil Heaven had consumed too much in the previous battle, and was no longer sure of dealing with another powerhouse comparable to the third prince of the dragon. No matter what, we didn't come here in vain today. Whether it's the news of the defeat of the third prince of the dragon or the news of the appearance of the third supreme being in the spirit sealing space, it's enough to shake the entire spirit sealing space. In the midst of the crowd's chatter, Kang Chon's trio also disappeared into the sky in 3 rays of light. As the battle came to an end, a cultivator who watched the battle passed the news in all directions. But in half a month's time, everyone in the entire Heavenly City battlefield knew the outcome of the battle. There were no surprises. Demon Heaven's might had become even stronger, with the strength of defeating the third prince of the dragon. Now he was simply as strong as ever, and could be called the #1 person in the spirit sealing space. Of course, Kang Chon wasn't much worse. He came out strong, repelled Demon Heaven, saved the third prince of the dragon. His powerful strength was recognized on the spot as the third supreme being in the spirit sealing space. In just half a month's time, Kang Chon's name was already known by everyone in the Heavenly City battlefield. In the middle of the vast and boundless Heavenly City battlefield, a young monk clad in a robe with a dazzling bald head walked barefoot on the thick earth, his eyes closed, his hands clasped together as he recited Buddhist scriptures under his breath, sensing the Buddhist principles of heaven and earth. All phases are illusory. If one sees all phases as non-phases, one sees the Buddha. All existent dharmas are like dreams and bubbles, like dew and electricity. One should view them as such. Realize that all dharmas are like the sound of a dream. The young monk closed his eyes to perceive the Buddha's principles, his bare feet, close to the earth. Feeling the pulsation and heaviness of the earth, the Buddha's light around him was immense and unrivaled. There was a great Buddha looming behind him. Swish swish, 2 figures ****** came from the front. To cultivators, they rushed, not knowing where they were heading. I didn't realize that the third prince of the dragon had lost to Demon Sky. It's a pity that we traveled a long way and didn't get to see this peak battle. What a pity, one of the cultivators said with a regretful face. Yes, I heard that the third prince of the dragon was saved in the end by a golden-haired monkey and a purple-robed youth. And that purple-robed youth was so powerful that he actually repelled Demon Heaven. Another cultivator said, that purple-robed youth is called Kang Chon. I heard that he came from the City of Heaven only recently, and he has already been recognized as the third supreme in a spirit sealing space. The 2 cultivators talked all the way and disappeared into the distance. At the same time, the young monk who had closed his eyes to perceive the principles of Buddhism opened his eyes, and instantly 2 brilliant golden rays of light shot out from his eyes. Amitabha Buddha. The young monk knew that no matter where Brother Dao was, it was impossible for him to keep a low profile. Third Supreme. The young monk was Brahma Shin. Since the farewell of the Heavenly City, he was alone to cross the Heavenly City battlefield. In just a few months his strength had progressed rapidly. Especially the comprehension of the Heavenly Buddha palm had become more and more skillful. I didn't expect them to have befriended the third prince of the dragon. Rumor has it that the third prince of the dragon resides in the east at the Stone Dragon Mountain. Well, head to the Stone Dragon Mountain immediately. Brahma heart softly murmured, then turned into a Buddha light and headed towards the east *******. In the middle of a cave, Windless of the 7 heroes of the Heavenly City opened his indifferent eyes, and his face became gloomy for the first time. Third Supreme. It seems that I have underestimated you, Kang Chon, Windless said softly, then left the place of seclusion and disappeared into the sky. In another place, Chang Kongji of the 7 heroes of the Heavenly City similarly learnt of Kang Chon, becoming the third supreme in spirit sealing space, and his face immediately somber to the extreme, before he finally smiled coldly. Spirit sealing space is only a place for Jiden stage cultivators to exercise their physical bodies. It's not certain who will win and who will lose after leaving the spirit sealing space. The shame from last time. I'll get it back from you guys in the orthodox demon battlefield. The news traveled very fast. In just half a month, the entire heavenly city battlefield became known to everyone, and in the end, it even traveled into the heavenly city. When the people of the city of heaven learnt that Kang Tian had become the third supreme in the spirit sealing space, they went crazy. Each one of them excited beyond measure, as they were witnessing the rise of a supreme with their own eyes. Contrary to the crowd, after the remaining 5 of the 7 heroes of the city of heaven heard the news, all of them were silent for a very long time, and later on, they all entered the battlefield of the city of heaven, one by one, and no longer stayed in the power of the city of heaven.